Well, Tracy, right behind me is where the statue of Egerton Ryerson once stood, but it was torn down in June, and there have been growing calls to rename the school. And today, the university announced that that will now, in fact, happen.
Which is amazing, phenomenal. We are all celebrating right now this wonderful win.
A win that came in the form of a vote, a unanimous acceptance of all 22 recommendations put forward by the Standing Strong Task Force, which includes the renaming of the institution.
It's an opportunity for the university to show leadership on an issue that is of importance, not only for our community, but to all Canadians.
The task force was assembled in November, and members were asked to make recommendations that would respond to Egerton Ryerson's history and legacy. There have long been calls to rename the university, but in June, a statue of Ryerson pulled to the ground after mounting pressure following the discovery of hundreds of unmarked graves at former residential schools in Canada. One of the 22 recommendations is calling for a plan to ensure all academic programs contain mandatory learning opportunities about Indigenous history and Indigenous and colonial relations for all students.
Glad to see that they're united with the students of the campus, which is really great.
I like how we're looking into it more and taking more consideration of the lives that we affected, and it's a lot of change, especially for a big school like Ryerson.
The university's president says the school will continue to be called Ryerson until a new name is selected, and they'll work with the community as part of that selection process.
The legacy of Egerton Ryerson has been a source of pain and frustration for members of our community. This is why we need to confront that legacy openly and honestly.
And while the decision to accept all the recommendations is being celebrated,
It's just about keeping the pressure on and seeing what steps are taken forward.
many are asking the question, when will the name change happen? That is still to be determined, but at this point, the university is expected to give more information on how it plans on implementing these recommendations come January. I'll send it back to you, Tracy.